so much, Harry, for inviting me to this program. I really appreciate it so much. And my name is Ivan Sode. I'm a mathematics teacher, and I've been teaching for the past 25 years. I'm currently teaching a senior high school in Ghana. That is Achimota Senior High School. It's one of the most prestigious secondary school we have in Ghana. And like I said, I teach mathematics. And coupled with that, I also do a lot of training for teachers. And so I'm more or less like a trainer of teachers. And I've been training both the junior high school, the senior high school, and then the primary or elementary school teachers as well. Again, I am part of a team of experts that designed the new curriculum for the senior high school, which is currently rolled out in Ghana. We started last year, and this is our second year with the new curriculum. And I'm so proud to be part of the team that developed it from the scratch to the far that it has got into as of today. And so that is what I do as an individual teacher in Ghana here. Good afternoon. How are you?
I am fine, sir. My name is Maheshwar. I am an 8th grader from GPHS Penmaka High School. I would like to ask a question. My question is, what advice would you give to mathematics teachers from the other countries to improve students' interest and confidence in maths?
Okay, thank you. Thank you for that very question. So maybe I'm going to use myself as an example, what I do to improve my my mathematics teaching so that it will be as a form of advice for other teachers in other parts of the world. One thing I do is in the course of teaching mathematics, I make students understand lessons from their own context. What it means is that when I'm teaching mathematics, I try to relate whatever they are learning in classroom or the math concept to their real life experience so that they don't see math far away from them. And so every math teacher must make sure you teach mathematics and relate it to the real life experience of your learners and using their environment to teach the concept. And when that is done, they'll be able to understand whatever you are teaching so well. Then again, I believe in relational teaching. Relational teaching simply means that you make sure students like you, the teacher, and they will definitely will like what you teach. And so you don't put fear into them. You don't do things that will shun them away from you. Math teacher must always be friendly and make sure you draw them closer. You always try to reach them from the classroom by imparting onto them both academic work and social aspects as well. And so relating with your students and making them like you will, one way or the other, make them also like what you teach. And so every math teacher must cultivate that attitude of relational teaching, whereby you relate with them and then you make sure they like you, then they will like what you are teaching as well. Then again, I will also advise teachers from other parts of the world to make sure they vary their teaching strategies, because math has been one of the subjects that most students don't like. And so when you are teaching, you need to meet them at the pace of where they learn. Some students are auditory learners. Others too, when you put the learning into drama, they will like it. Some students, if you make the lesson activity-based, they get involved. And so a teacher teaching math must vary the teaching strategies so that it will cater for the learning style of every individual student in the class. When that happens, they'll be able to understand. I normally don't like teaching students one way. You introduce a concept and you teach them one particular method and that is the end. No, vary the strategies, vary the teaching approach. In that case, they'll be able to learn. Then also celebrate your students at any point in time when they move from one step to another. If a student score, let's say 20 out of 50 marks, teaching very relatable, and students will love what they are doing, and I'm sure you yourself, the teacher, will be able to enjoy what you do as well as a teacher.
Sir,
Hello, good afternoon. How are you?
I am good, sir. Myself, Akbar. I am a ninth grader from VZPHS, Penmaka. In this
Okay,
connection, may I ask you a question?
good.
What challenges do students in Ghana commonly face while learning mathematics, and how do teachers address them?
Thank you very much for that. Student challenge. It's more or less like a universal one. Everywhere you go, the same problem. Most of the times, mass anxiety, fear, okay, due to past negative experiences and the way we start teaching them from the beginning. Some students believe that math is difficult, okay, and that fear alone actually push them away from the learning of math. And so I would say, yes, math anxiety and fear make students find it difficult to learn the subject based on their experiences. Then I would say also that sometimes the foundation are not built well right from the beginning. And so most students fear math because they didn't get a very good foundation. And some of the basic skills, numeracy skills that they're supposed to pick, how to do simple arithmetic like multiplication, when that becomes an issue from the beginning, then as they progress, they'll find it difficult to do mathematics. In Ghana, most of the times, large class also create a lot of problem for us as teachers. And that makes it difficult to reach every individual student. Because when you're teaching a large class and to attend to individual needs, you tend to teach all of them together, and that could create a problem. And so when the class is big and the size is big, definitely it will make it difficult for you to reach individuals' challenges and address them. Another challenge that I think we are having as teachers teaching math is limited teaching and learning resources. A teacher may be very dynamic, want to use maybe technology, want to use teaching learning materials, so he can use it to help the learners understand. But most schools, you don't get access to technology. You don't have maybe a computer. In some cases, even no electricity in the classroom. And so if you want to introduce technology, you don't have access to those kind of resources to help in teaching using technology. So these are some of the challenges that I believe students face, okay, or they face, yes, as they learn the subject mathematics. Hello.
My name is Praveen Kumar. I am a ninth grader, sir. May I ask you
Okay.
one question, sir, with your permission?
Okay.
What role do technology and teaching aids play in mathematics classroom in Ghana?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yes, in Ghana, we use a lot of tools in teaching. We have calculators, we have computers, we have projectors, we have smart boards. Okay, so all these are tools we have available. Not all schools have it though, but most schools have projectors, most schools have calculators they have smart boards, they have computers and laptops. Even sometimes we use our phones to teach math in class. In my school, for example, personally, I have my personal projector, I have my personal computer or laptop that I use to teach. I've also prepared PowerPoint slides, and I've also prepared presentations that I use in teaching math. And so when you come to my class, all my lessons are in PowerPoint. I also do recording of video lessons, which I have some on YouTube. I use simulations to teach mathematics. And so there are a lot of tools some teachers will use. But like I said it earlier on, because of some of the challenges we have with electricity in schools, and then maybe lack of computers in most of the schools, they find it difficult to use technology. But those who have the means to get those gadgets are able to use it. And like I said, personally, I do. And most of the people that I train, I always encourage them to use technology in teaching math because it makes math very easy to learn. There are some graphs that when you breathe life into them and animate them, students, understand it so easily. So technology is a very powerful tool that we can inculcate in our teaching of mathematics to make math real, fun, and interesting. Also, it engages the minds of our learners when we use them. In the 21st century, most of our students are using phones already. And so when you bring mathematics to their phones, they're able to learn it and learn it so well. When you ask them to go and read, they won't read. You put it on their laptop or on their phones, they'll be able to learn it for you. So I do a lot of video lessons where I share with my learners. They watch it on their phones and then they use it for their revisions. Yeah.
Sir, I would like to ask another question. My question
Okay.
is, how is mathematics taught in Ghanaian schools, and what teaching methods do you find most effective for students?
Thank you very much for that question. Yes, so in Ghana, we use national curriculum in teaching. Okay. Basically, we have a national curriculum that every school in the country uses. And this curriculum is being produced by an organization called the National Center for Curriculum and Assessment. Okay, so they develop their material for us and they emphasize on understanding, they emphasize on problem solving, they emphasize on application rather than rote learning or memorization. Okay, and then they have already made teaching strategies in their curriculum, like teacher-led explanation, guided practice, group work, and we also use continuous assessment in teaching. Now, effective method that works so well for me and most teachers in Ghana is activity-based learning, where students are given the opportunity to manipulate objects. They draw diagrams themselves, they draw graphs, they explore patterns so that they can relate and discover formulas out of that. And so activity-based learning is one of the most effective way of we using it to teach mathematics. Again, we also use problem solving and then inquiry-based approaches, okay, which actually build that kind of critical thinking skills in our learners. And problem solving skills here means that we give students in groups project to undertake. In the course of undertaking that project, they collaborate, they communicate, so they build this kind of skills in them. They do critical thinking in solving the problem. We also use peer learning because most of our classrooms, we put the students in groups. And so they are able to interact with each other, they collaborate with each other to come out with solutions. They teach each other as well. Then I'll talk about the last thing, that is teaching based on context. Okay, teaching based on context. We try to relate the maths to the immediate environment. And so if I'm teaching a concept like maybe permutation and combination, I will let the students use their name to create passwords. And the course of creating passwords, they know how many times people can try to perm or to suggest a way of breaking into that particular password based on the number of letters being used and the number of times they have to combine them. And so we try to make mathematics real and in the context of the environment where the students find themselves. We also use the culture of their environment to relate the math concept. So that is basically what we do, how we teach math in Ghana.
Okay, thank you so much. And here I have two questions from my side. And with your permission, I
Okay.
would like to ask. My
All
first
right.
question is, how do teachers in Ghana upskill their professional knowledge? I mean, how do they upgrade their professional knowledge from time to time? Do you have any
Okay.
sessions where
Yeah.
teachers can exchange their knowledge with other teachers so that they
Yeah.
can take their knowledge to the next level? And how
Yeah.
frequently do you have those sessions? And
Okay.
is there mandatory for every teacher to take part in it?
Yeah. Thank you very much for that question, Sir Hari Krishna. So, basically, teachers in Ghana, before you become a teacher, a professional teacher, you need to go through training. And the basic one is teacher training college. Right from senior high school, you can apply to go to teacher training college, where you'll be trained as a teacher. So thereafter, you attain your diploma in basic education or diploma in a particular subject area. Then you can teach for a number of years. After that qualification, you are able to teach at the primary school, at the junior high school. Then you can upgrade yourself to do your degree in the university. After attaining your degree, you are qualified to teach at the senior high school. And so all senior high school teachers use degree in teaching. And all teachers teaching at the basic school, like the primary and junior high, they use the diploma in teaching. Now, when you attain your degree or your diploma and you are teaching, we have in-service training that we organize regularly by organizations. Once in a while, they come to the school or they come to the district, put all teachers together and further train them with maybe emerging technology or emerging strategy, and they go through that. We also have what we call PLC, Professional Learning Community, which is now compulsory for every Ghanaian teacher, whether in the basic school, that's the primary school, or the senior high school. And it's done weekly. It's done weekly. So every week on our timetable, we've created that space where teachers will pause teaching, they meet together, then they go through some of the strategies they need to use in teaching. During that time, at the basic level, they pause, they close their lesson. I mean, they close school so that teachers can come together and learn. But at a senior high school, we don't close. During that period, we give the students assignment to do on their own, then teachers come together for 1 hour, 30 minutes and go through professional learning community. And so this is what we do in upgrading ourselves. Other teachers too can further continue their education by doing their master degree, and some even do their PhD whilst teaching at the senior high school. And then in most cases, when they get their PhD, they move to the universities or the training colleges to go and lecture over there. So this has been the way in which we upgrade ourselves as teachers in Ghana.
Thank you so much. And here is my last question. You have mentioned the word activity-based learning. And
Yeah.
do you think that the previously you used to you used to practice one kind of education system in your country? Probably the government policy, one more revolution has taken place in your country in the form of education reforms. I mean, activity-based education system has been introduced in your country and in your schools. So, in what way the activity-based teaching, I mean, method is different from the previous one, and how useful it is for the students, especially in the context of mathematics?
Okay, thank you very much. Previously, we normally do teacher-based learning, where teachers stand in front of the class, students are arranged in a row, then teacher give instructions, students follow. And it's more of teacher-centered. And in this case, we don't see a lot of engagement of learners with the learning. And so teachers give instructions, students have to follow the instructions, and mostly we don't see different teaching approaches. It become one way, lecture-based method. But with the introduction of the activity-based, where we are supposed to put our students in groups so that no student sits behind another student in a row, but they sit around their group and then discuss questions, discuss problems, and do that. So if there's any activity you want them to do, they can do it in their groups as they learn the concept. In my class, for example, in some cases, I'll bring materials to the class, give them to the various groups, and then I give them instructions. Then I leave them on their own to investigate concepts, to discuss, and then to do the activities so it could help them to understand. Me in particular, I also love sometimes bringing math outside the classroom. Okay, so sometimes instead of them to be in the classroom to learn the math, I let them do it outside so that they can interact and then learn the concept. That's what I do basically.
Okay, thank you so much. And here is my last question actually. So how do the students in your schools take the examinations? I mean, monthly or twice in a week? And how often do they take the examinations? What kind of examination system is there? Do the students take online examination or offline?
Okay, thank you. So here our assessment actually is two. We have the formative assessment and then the summative assessment. The formative assessment is like the continuous assessment that we do. And so if a student comes to school, we will have homework, assignment, class exercise for them, preparing them for the period. Then when they end a semester, for example, the senior high school, when they end a semester, they write end of semester exams, which is summative. Now, so they'll do it first semester, second semester in year 1, year 2, year 3. Then when they are done, we put all these assessments together and we rank it up to 30%. Then we have external examination, which they do at the end of the 3 years, which is the national exams. It's called WASI, West Africa Examination Certificate. West Africa Examination Certificate. Yeah, so that is WASI. And so the WASI is the national one. It's not online, it's paper-based, where every school will have their center. They bring the exams from the WAEC center to the various schools, and then they invigilate. And so then the WAEC take the questions to the centers, and then after the exam, they do their marking over there to grade the students. So that is for the senior high school. But for the junior high school, they also write basic certificate examination. Also, it's a national one that the whole country, they write it together. That is a placement kind of assessment. It is when they are done with our exams, then they use that to place them in the various secondary schools. And so basically, that is how our assessment mode comes. But in all cases, they are paper-based assessment, not online. We've not gotten to the stage of writing online exams.
Okay. Thank you so much, Evans, for your comprehensive, ideas about different aspects of your country. And we are so thankful to you for giving us this great opportunity to interact with you. And that too, a great educator from Ghana. I'm really so thankful to you. And before we wind up this session, may I request you to give a message to my students and to my teaching community in India?
Okay, so what I would say to them is they should keep learning mathematics. And math is fun, math is real, math is interesting. In fact, without mathematics, life will be difficult. I always tell my students that if you take away math, everything we have will cease. Even right now, we are using Zoom. This Zoom that we are using, the basic is math. Technology is mathematics. Everything is math. So they should keep learning math and they should keep enjoying math. With teachers, we should love what we do because this job is a noble profession. And so they should give their best, teach by loving their students, And so when you love your student, definitely they will like what you teach. And so my message for them is that they should keep pressing on. They will surely get there.